Welcome back to the LPL for week number 5, day 1, to introduce you to what is going to be the halfway point here as we gather and get ready for BLG taking on Top Esports in today's El Clasico matchup. I say that because for BLG and Top Esports, bit of history here in last split and how these teams were fighting out for playoffs. One more successful than another. I'll get to that a little bit later, but for BLG, take a gander here. As you look at the back of XinMo's head, we didn't quite get the front. You look at Jinjiao as well. There's one man I actually want to look at here, and whether we get that luxury, no, that's Kuro. Let's go a little bit higher. There he is at the end. ADD, a lot of points on him today, but gander over to their opponents, over to Top Esports, and to someone like LokeN, Ben in the bottom lane, exciting. 369 as well. Someone like Knight. XX is on the list as well. I just went through the whole players. Welcome back to the LPL. My name's Jake Asterix, Aussie Pekka, joined by Brento Raz Muhammad. I was going somewhere, Raz, but at the end of the day, I just saw all of Top Esports and got excited.
I just said it was pretty sad that you didn't talk about the fact that the back of XinMo's head was ridiculous.
I know, they went to it twice, so they really like the back of XinMo's head. However, after yesterday, I'm like, where will Top Esports be sitting up today, considering that now in standings, everything's just gone up and down once again?
It's only because everybody knew at some point Invictus Gaming as a squad was going to come back, right?
Sure.
You know, the first 2 weeks, much like Team Liquid, I'm not going to say SKT because that team's still in the bottom.
That's not going well.
It's not looking good. But Invictus Gaming are coming back. So it's nice to see that, especially with Balam back in the roster. So that's a little bit about it.
And before we do talk about the rest of the league, getting a bit ahead of myself, we have to recap on last weekend. For anyone that missed out, you would have missed out on the performance by FPX and one individual. In particular, our weekly MVP in Mr. Doomby. Throw him up.
Big. Huge. Solo kills, #1. And of course, these are the stats specific to week 4. 2 MVPs that he was able to get for himself. And off the back of what you would expect to be, you know, whenever we talk about Doomby, he has a champion pool that's crazy to be able to look at. The Renekton is one that comes to mind. He's right now #1 in terms of champions played in the league.
Yep.
And one that was just surprising, I was really shocked to see it come out so consistently, was the Aatrox. Against LGD, that was a pick that went 2-0 in that series. 1 for LGD, 1 for Doomby.
Yep.
And then, of course, he was able to pick it up going up in RNG. And to be fair to RNG, it wasn't because of the Aatrox that did it to him. FPX just rocked them in both games straight.
Yes, but I guarantee you, on that side note, that you're never going to see Doomby with Aatrox again, because that feels like a must-ban going forward. However, this man, we highlighted him in the mid lane. I'm now going to highlight the rest of Summoner's Rift as we welcome you to Best of the Rift once again, with 2 FPX members making the hit.
Partner in duo, like both of them. Mid and jungle. Tien is insane. And remember, just to recap to Spring Split, this was your #1 and #3 when we were going towards the MVP voting list.
Yeah.
So, of course, Doomby was awarded MVP of Spring Split. Tien was 3rd place in that for good reason. Both of them were able to take down the competition with relative ease. So it's no surprise that they were able to come into this one.
They're not the only duo on this list, though, and to see V5 make it in not 1 role but 2, to me, that is a reward in itself after beating IG.
It's a lot to take in, right? For Victory 5, I expected them to be in the bottom of the barrel. And who's to say that won't be the case? But for now, Max and Mole, to me, are the most shocking duo come across. Mole is it's funny that he's highlighted here as a top laner, because his mid lane performance is even more stellar.
Yeah.
So, you know, Victory 5 are doing well in the solo lanes, and Max, his Yuumi pick. Not a lot of times you get to take a step back, and he was able to pick up 3 MVPs, the most of just the, you know, of supports across the board, because he was able to be the reason why they end up winning a lot of those game-ending team fights.
It was an exciting performance from Max, so we'll just touch quickly on Jinjiao before we move on, because this AD carry we'll be having a closer look at today, Raz.
As you can just tell, the major focus, damage per minute, damage percentage, you'll see it as we go along. He is our best team fighting AD carry, and consistency has been key for him in between both these splits. Reason for him to be able to put this across, of course, is because the front line is huge for BLG. You get to see examples of that as they play later today.
First in everything, see if he can be first in the matchup today. But moving forward, remember that in the LPL, this is 11 weeks of red-hot summer. And coming into week number 5, you look at FPX as the only undefeated team.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked across the board because LNG should have been that team at the top alongside FPX. But they lost to BLG. They were victim to Jinjiao, right? The sniper being able to take him down. So it's great to be able to see BLG rise up, and it gives us a more defined top of the ladder. That's what I was concerned about at the end of the day. You know, middle of the pack seemed too large, and now you get to really see FPX standing tall alongside Suning in top esports.
Yeah, for Suning, they're looking for that further rise to fame, as they've only taken one loss here in the regular season against JDG. They're 4-1 at the moment, so going up against IG later is a good test as to how they'll shape up.
It's going to be a great test for us to really gauge the positioning of, you know, Invictus Gaming for me.
Yep.
Because Rift Rivals is coming up. Top esports and Invictus Gaming are invited. And for us, for Invictus Gaming to be a Seed 1 team in that event, we need to be able to see them perform even without Rookie.
That's right. And for IG, remember that Forge has been playing for the last couple of series, and I'd say so far so good. Big question mark there at the end of top esports series, but moving down the track for IG, this is not the only matchup this week that they'll be looking forward to. It's Suning versus the TES, and then the grand final rematch is coming up as well.
IG versus JDG. I love the fact that it's the Shy and Zoom that are the focus here, because at that time, that finals, even though it was one of the fastest, of course, G2's own finals, is going to trump that pretty easily.
By a lot,
The Shy was #1 in the top laners in the world, and #1, of course, easily in the LPL.
Yep.
And Zoom was supposed to be, as Tabe said, like the Anakin to that whole situation. Luke Skywalker, I suppose, but either way, he was supposed to rival him, #1 and #2.
Yep.
Zoom fell as JDG did. And right now, they're not sitting too well in the standings, as you saw. But what's exciting is that in terms of just recency, JDG are sprouting right back up.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfect timing to see by the end of this week how they'll end up faring against each other.
Coming up on the Saturday, just before we start delving into Rift Rivals a little bit more and seeing where IG and JDG truly stand. So again, Saturday, that's coming up, but we have to start with our beautiful Monday hit today. And it's BLG Top Esports jumping onto the Rift in what I would have expected to be a Top Esports dominated matchup, but there's a lot to talk about with BLG.
There is. Because we probably wouldn't have said so much about BLG if it wasn't for the fact they just kicked LNG.
That's right.
Like, just smacked them. And for us, we already, a large reason for that is for, you know, best of the Rift. Person who was able to get that was, you know, bottom lane for Jinjiao. Jinjiao and ShinMo doing so well. The reason why he was able to pump out so much damage was because consistently the front line for this team is coming up trumps.
Yes.
And for me, the reason, the soldier for that is ADD. ADD, whenever you hear about him, he's either because he's massively underperforming or he's becoming the biggest boss on the Rift. And for me, when you look at his champion pool, Dr. Mundo comes into your eyes. And recently, he's been playing a lot of GP. But also, the Sejuani top lane has been another niche pick that he's been having in the top side of the map. All of these are blind. The Mundo blind pick is something that really just leaves you scratching your head. And so for me, ADD just doesn't care about the laning phase. He moves past it. Oftentimes, like coming out in a deficit in lane, but his entire focus is to be in these team fights, to push people in the back, force the enemy team to challenge them, and they're able to accomplish that going up against LNG.
My biggest takeaway here is the fact that for ADD in the LCK, the name was known, but here in the LPL, it's becoming more household. It's becoming more standardized because he is performing so darn well. His entrance into spring, now into summer, and you're thinking, well, this player is coming up and he's shaping up.
Look, he is right at home in the LPL, and he's always, you know, there's always that little bit of regret if we're going back to his time in the LCK, because when MVP was relegated, a lot of that was because he was, you know, he was sick during that really crucial moment. And it sucks for him as an individual. So for him to be able to come into the LPL, make an entrance on towards BLG, and while Spring Split, a lot of people will look at them and say they didn't make playoffs, right? But that last run, the last few weeks, was a hellacious trek.
It was one series, and that series against IG that kept them out.
That one auto attack off of being able to nail the series down. Crazy.
Yeah.
And I think now that they've been able to clean that slate, focus on this split, the summer split, and they're in a great position to be able to get playoffs, especially since the competition has been cleared out. Dominus, where are they?
Yep.
Right? No longer. I can't see them. WE, I can't see them either, sadly, though they just took down EDG. That's another discussion for another time. But BLG's happy, right? The trek seems to be open for playoffs.
Yeah, so for BLG, maybe Suning comes into the discussion as how they're going to shape up and maybe, you know, start trying to knock them away. For later, of course. Sorry for touching you. Now for BLG, this to me seems to be a top lane focused discussion. Sorry again. ADD, coming back to, you know, right round, this Ryze top is what I want to break down, because he has had some great couple of games referring again to the LNG series.
Yeah, so let's throw it up, because being able to see how this team is able to perform in team fights, like, this was a great moment where, you know, LNG were actually having a great back and forth throughout this series. And I think that this is a great point for LNG where you think that they're able to come in, but obviously you made a mention of how they were able to fight. He comes out alive, shield mania, it would seem. The triple kill also coming through from Jinjiao. So it also comes back to the fact that Jinjiao has so much space to just move and breathe, to be able to take as a frontline because ADD is performing.
Yes.
He's coming up huge in these fights, and so a once undefeated LNG is now having real difficulty in the fights that they're being pulled into.
And they've become such a more bloody team coming into summer as well. If you remember, we defined BLG in spring as this was the LCK style. It was slow, it was methodical, it was those big 30 to 40 minute team fights. Now a lot more early scrapping, a lot more confidence in those solo lanes.
Well, the game time has been reduced quite significantly. It's been also a more snowball-y feel, and this is just like MSI patch coming into coordination with this.
Very true.
And on top of that, a lot of people don't recognize. BLG came into the spring split with, you know, 2 Korean imports, ADD, Kuro. They were, you know, diving deep into the books to be able to understand the language as much as possible, get into understanding their teammates, and remember, in combination with rookie talent across the board, jungle and support, the most important roles to be able to reel in your mid game were players that didn't have experience on the big stage, and usually those are the right amount of tools to find yourself in the bin as a squad. Like, all of that in combination, that's a 13th place kind of move, right?
Very true.
For at least spring split. But not only was Kuro and ADD performing, Jinjiao had the greatest split, but also they just were able to reel in a lot of this talent. And the major reason for that, not a lot of people will talk about, is, you know, Coach Sim. Like, the coaching staff for BLG has been phenomenal for the squad as well. So they're only getting better and better. You can see the fan being, or at least the banner being spotlighted here as they're making their entrance.
Rising high, let's go through the rosters. ADD in the top lane, Meteor in jungle, that rookie ex-ping pong champion, Kuro in the mid lane, and Jinjiao and XinMo, the newest member of BLG, with Coach Sim right behind them.
So XinMo came in from EDG Academy, so anybody is aware about him. Another rookie to the split, so it's a new addition. He's been doing quite well for the team, and so what I'm pretty excited about for BLG is the fact that they've been able to get to the teamfight phase pretty easily. Meteor has been a major tool for this team, where I feel like Rookie of the Split is incredibly attainable for him.
Really is. Going up
Rookie of the Year, that is.
Well, a further discussion to be had. Now for top Esports, Raz, let's go through this. Top lane, you know, it's 369, XX in the jungle, Knight, the infamous mid laner, come in, and LokeN and Ben, led by Coach BSY1.
There we go. And this is the team that, if we're talking expectations, people expected this team to be able to be like either in the finals or a third place squad. Obviously, weren't able to achieve any of that. Went and took that 4th place spot in the spring split. Coming into this split, Top Esports, I think, shored up a lot of their issues. Now, rookie talent is something that's been a major issue for themselves as well. 369 is such a sick talent.
Oh, yeah.
But when the spotlight hit him, when we got to those moments, they played away from him.
Yep.
I didn't like that. I mean, Moyu's great. No shade at all towards him.
But 369 just looks better.
Exactly. And so now we're getting to see this matchup here. 369 going up against ADD. There's a reason why the camera getting split up and being able to show both of them, because it's not just a series about Kuro and Knight. It's about that talent as well. So real upcoming talent, for me, is a major point of view here for Top Esports versus BLG.
You're getting close to look at another one of the cool matchups as we swing by as well. Kuro versus Knight. Now, to me, the 2Ks in the mid lane, that just shapes up nicely, right?
Yes. Something that I love about Kuro as a player, if you haven't been able to see BLG throughout the year, it's that he has moved in terms of his playstyle. A lot of what you saw during international play or in the LCK has been that kind of a control-made feel, play it slow kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right now, what you're seeing is far more assassins and bruises from him. He's been shaping up in towards what as most, LPL champion mid laners play champion pool.
Yep.
So if we're talking about like the Akalis, he's played that pretty consistently. The LeBlanc, he's hit that. He's doing so well. The only one that I don't kind of want to dive too deep in is his Renekton, because his Renekton play has been the worst I've seen amongst LPL mid laners.
That's very fair.
But he's showcased to me that he can play faster, far more aggressive, and that's been resulting to a lot of the earlier games that we've been seeing as we're looking like getting into Champion Select.
Because if you're looking at these solo lanes, as we do find our way into game number 1, remember that there's been a lot of carry potential. There's been a lot of bloodshed early. Kuro, more towards the Karma, it's his most played at the moment. But for Knight, the Jace. You know him well, you know his solo kills. And this is going to be the matchup. Mid, top, let's get ready for the solo lanes to explode as we jump into game 1.
And for me, the focus of this one, and I love the fact that Karma has been banned. Remember, it's 9.11. We won't be going into 9.12 until after Rift Rivals.
That's right.
We'll be moving to 9.13 at that point. Ooh. So that's going to be a fun one, isn't it?
Step back, yeah.
There we go. Going to have to learn as much as possible when we get to that point. That means, because of that, because it's 9.11, Sylas exists.
That's right.
He's a champion on the Rift.
And so does Ryze, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these champions look you in the eyes and say, let's remember together.
A miracle.
Well, Ben's going to follow the trend of most hovered, most picked rather, here in the LPL. His most played champion in the Lux.
It allows for so much pick potential once you get outside of the laning phase. And on top of that has been the go-to blind pick, or even just the counter pick. When we're talking about like support tier list, Yuumi started out the split as the go-to.
Yep.
And of course, Lux is a great response into that. Now, Nautilus has been a support pick that we've been seeing quite heavily from BLG. Great. It's a great flex pick between both mid lane and support. And it's been a great way of dealing with a lot of these Enchanter supports. But of course, Lux has that go-to Aftershock button.
Yeah, that's right.
Get that life binding and you're able to deal with the all-in engage. So we'll have to see if BLG ends up putting that Nautilus to the bottom line.
Game number 7 here for Ben as well on the side note for the Lux. Concerned about the junglers here. XX goes to the J4, but BLG leaving that to the wind, as now Top Esports have the chance to just start banning away Meteor.
I want to be able to see here what Meteor ends up going to, because he's been a different type of jungler, far more willing to go later, so Nocturne has been in his pool, while it hasn't been the case for the rest of the map. And honestly, Karthus has been picked by Rogue Warriors, but certainly has been deep in his champion pool as well. So they have great shove on bot side. I'm not concerned about giving space for Meteor so he can farm. So I think that's going to be your go-to here. If you're thinking about a possible, farming mentality with a Nocturne, I think this is it.
Okay, let's see how it develops, because BLG had that window available. On the other side, starting to ban away 80 carries from Top Esports, and Top have decided it's Nico time.
Best champion to be able to deal with the Jarvan that we've been seeing in North America LEC is also the Skarner.
Ah, well said.
Skarner would be a wonderful pick in this situation. The only concern I would have is both the Rune Prison, that is an actual prison, and the Light Binding would be able to deal with the Skarner if he ever looks for that engage. But we'll have to see what we end up going through, because Morgana still seems to be an option. So technically you could throw Nautilus mid, get a Morgana across, and be a pretty decent composition.
Kuro has played Nautilus mid on that note as well. And to your Skarner point, Meteor has picked that up before in the summer split. So with that window available, Top Esports focusing elsewhere. It's the 80 carry now that LokeN goes for. A safer matchup with the Kai'Sa locked in.
All right. Picks it up. Going to be a Kennen in the top lane.
Okay.
Really goes to show that BLG want to be able to put the Sylas in the hands of Kuro. So there we go.
Not going to be the Skarner. The Shin, Zhao locked in here for Meteor.
A great early game bridge. So gonna have to see if it's gonna be a Hail of Blades in Zhao, something that we've been, getting a glance of as of late. Another one is obviously Phase Rush if he wants to be able to deal with that 1v1 matchup against Jarvan. A lot of, ooh.
Do we see an 80 carry towards the mid lane?
Yeah. I'm always interested in this one because the matchup gets it locked in.
Yeah.
Because we've been seeing a lot of different matchups dealing with the Sylas. And now seeing the Lucian mid versus Sylas. Lucian on Knight, by the way.
Yeah.
That's going to be a real fun one. Remember, we'd have to get to 20 seconds and find out if there's going to be a Lucian top and a Ryze mid to deal with it. Ryze is also a fantastic matchup into the Sylas.
Yep.
So they can do what they want in this situation. I would prefer to have Sylas, the Lucian mid, just because you would have, auto push in that lane, the extra bit of mobility so you can help out and roam alongside the J4 pre-6. So let's see. We get the full 20 seconds, we finally get to see it locked in.
Lucian mid going up against the Sylas. Now, remember the Sylas into this team of Top Esports doesn't get to take too much. Sure, there's a Cataclysm, there's a Culling, but there's not as much as you'd like here to work with. So Lucian can just dash out. Matchup looks pretty good, favoring Knight.
I really enjoy, you already mentioned the Culling, but the Lux Ultimate really adds to a team fight if you can be able to get in range to be able to steal it. So that's something that I really enjoy from that one. We'll have to see as it gets a focus here, but also allows for more pick potential in the team. Abscond Abduct really provides a lot more in your 2v2s through mid, and that's something that Top Esports have been really thriving off of. So if we're talking about a way you end up dealing with Top Esports, I love the fact that, you got that Jinjiao button alongside Sylas. 2v2 through mid should be really assured if Jinjiao is able to get to the Scuttle Crab earlier.
Yep.
Like, if he's able to dictate the flow early and we don't get that level 2 gank from the Jarvan, then I'm loving what I'm looking at with BLG.
I'm looking back to what you said as we went through rehearsals. We went at the start of today, Ryze, and you said, for BLG, it has to be Kuro, right? This is what you said. For this team, I look at it and again I go, well, Meteor's involved, but BLG, what did we look at the start of spring? Well, it had to be Kuro. And running into game 1, I'm going to be asking that again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see when we get in the game, because ADD has output such a strong performance that you can start relying on him. Maybe you got that triple threat on your hand.
Let's find out. Solo lanes of BLG up into Top Esports. And Top Esports, one of the fastest teams in the LPL, continuing to rise, continuing to head towards that margin of Rift rivals. But first, BLG stand in their way. I'm just not sure anymore. Like, it's not that I've lost hope.
Hangzhou's too close.
Yes. We are, of course, in Shanghai for our very first game, but let's break this down a little bit further because I see some interesting runes. Not the electrocute Kennen once again. ADD has gone for the safer and airy for the poke, and 369 over towards the phase rush, which we don't see as much anymore on the Ryze.
Yeah, phase rush just because he feels like he has a good matchup for himself. Usually you see a Comet if you're going into a pretty difficult matchup that you need the extra range. If you go Rune Prison, to be able to get the Comet damage down. In this case, I mean, one I want to focus on is, of course, it is the Halo Blades being picked up by Meteor. He's actually, what seems like he's going red to Wolfcam? Or is he going buff to buff? Seems like it could be the case.
Buff to buff, it seems.
Yeah, buff to buff. So that still means that he needs to be able to pick up his Wolf, Gromp, to be able to get that level 3 mark. Something that we still need to look towards. We still have a long time, a minute, until Scuttle Crabs comes up.
Yep.
And his focus should be looking towards top lane and mid lane for that gank. Mid lane's going to be really difficult, by the way.
Yep.
Just because the reason why the Lucian is so effective here is not just because of the trading ability, dealing with the Sylas, as you can already see, coming out, push potential as well, but also the dash makes it so, you know, when we talk about the Abscondent of Duck being crucial to be able to set up the gank, he needs to be able to use it in response to the knock-up that Meteor picks up. But here comes the gank.
All right, speaking of predictions, the top lane now up to ADD to predict that the flash comes through first from XX, gets the slow, the flag and drag. Easily done here from the jungler of Top Esports.
Yeah, gets it done early, really early on. Gets his Krugs and he's already up there. While Meteor, he went buff to... Oh, don't do that.
Oh, we say don't TP towards. Why do we say it, Raz? Because of this. The flag drag, XX is still here. ADD, we were singing your praises, and now you've just gone and done that.
His jungler went towards his Raptors, man. You always have to teleport on your tower, unless if you have the jungler to be able to back you up. Cardinal sin. It's not like the man's not just going to roll right back up topside. Now, that's 2 kills on the Jarvan really early on.
Man, that's just so damn rough.
And if you want to see that 2-kill J4, he is going to be the point of view stream, of course. That's going to be on Doyu and Huya.
So great timing.
Gander that one.
BLG trying to find small windows where they can. It's the bottom lane now we focus on that Meteor has moved into. So as LokeN and Ben get the trade back towards Jinjiao and ShinMo, Meteor at level 4 from the wave can make his engage.
Yeah, let's see if we can get anything here.
Ooh, good dredge line, Ben forced to flash.
Yeah, even better flash there. Perfect timing. At least he now knows that Meteor is going to be bot side. It's just kind of insane to be able to see a situation where, of course, I don't know if you guys are seeing this yourselves. There we go.
There we go. That's our POV.
I don't know what it is. My screen is just dead.
I just saw XX in the corner. I thought, well, that's
either way, my point is that you know, at the end of the day, the fact that Meteor was seen going to his Krugs is unfortunate for BLG, simply because now ADD's put in the most impossible position that he put himself in. Makes it so much easier now for J4 to support Lucian, knowing that, you know, 369 will be able to provide vision on the top side of the map for him. So BLG already starting this one on an oof.
Yeah, a bit rough. 2 kills going straight to the J4. And if I was the top lane, I'd be like, well, at least the Ryze doesn't have it. But Ryze in the top lane has triple Sapphire Crystal, which is not something you often see.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to get to his tier early on as well. So, like, there's a lot of things. Remember, I just Glory is to go to afterwards.
Yep.
He's in a perfect position for himself to play this one out.
Very true. Meteor trying to come up to the top lane, even things back out now. Controlled in the brush means that Meteor can walk past this, but not sure of the try right now, and underneath Turret, 369 feeling pretty comfy.
There's not much he can do in this side of the map with the wave pushing in, and honestly just being here to defend him just in case. They have no eyes on where J4 is. As you can see, he's already leaning towards this side of the map, the bottom side that is, so we'll see if the gank is possible.
It's an Infernal Drake first as well, remember, Raz, so this is a great side to hover, and with no camps up and available, the J4 can look to enter mid, look back towards the bottom lane, or even just start this dragon up.
I would just love to see the Observer actually look to the bottom side, because that's where most of the action is happening. He was able to clear out a lot of vision on the bot side just because of LokeN and Ben, able to shove this lane out. So really early Infernal Dragon, well done by Xiong. Top Esports have started out this one early.
So good predict though from BLG as the double flash comes through. They want to get something in the top side, and it's 369. Now with a return kill going over to Meteor. Retribution won't go to ADD, but at least the Ryze drops.
There's a lot of questionable decisions happening in the top lane. Your bot side just got a full shove, and we're doing Infernal.
Yep.
You had a pretty damn good idea that top lane pressure was coming through, but 369 really stuck his head out there.
Hurts 369 just as much as it hurt ADD in the beginning. So while Topside are having their own shenanigans, the jungler's benefiting, and ADD using the ult to get the full push out. He's now back in a small advantage, only for now.
Yeah, so it's at least, ADD, I wouldn't even say it's a clear-cut advantage. I still like what Ryze is being able to get for himself here, but, I mean, coming back into the lane, has had it fully shoved out. That's what you want to be able to see for ADD that started this one out so poor so early on. And I think for Meteor, even better, because able to get that first kill and a great successful gank. That's something we've wanted to be able to see from him to start this one off. Really good ward here, catching him out, so nothing can happen throughout the mid lane.
Have to say, Meteor unaware, walks into the mid lane, spotted out, and Knight can easily back away. So hard to gank the Lucian as it is.
I would love to see him go for a bot lane gank through the, the lane bushes that we already saw. That first attempt resulted in Ben using his own flash. Him going for a lane gank, super easy with the Nautilus in tow.
Remember, we had a lot of focus about the solo lanes here, but for the bottom side, it seems like Jinjiao already 10 CS ahead. Although, going into a BF sword and LokeN now, Raz, the BF sword early for Kai'Sa means one thing. We're setting up for a later Infinity Edge. We could be going back towards Storm Razors, of course.
It's definitely a Storm Razor in my eyes. I just think that she needs that kind of damage, especially in the matchup. A lot of poke coming through from the Sivir. Also
believe we saw this the other night, a couple of nights ago here in the LPL, where the BF sword gets picked up first, then it's back towards something like a tier, depending on how the Kai'Sa goes. So keep an eye on that one, because Meteor towards the bottom side could accelerate Jinjiao and XinMo.
Both side lanes have to just peace out from the tower. I think it was really well done from ADD to completely get the hell out of dodge, just because in that situation, Knight and XX were leaning to that side of the map, so he's just taking a lot of L's here. It's unfortunate from his side, but has to play it as smart as possible.
Biggest issue right now is that Meteor's been spotted on a ward and now caught out, bind it down, sends the ulti out, and Jarvan's coming in, he wants a Cataclysm, but forces the flash out of Meteor, so key summoner down, Meteor has to back away, while mid was also getting priority as well.
Yeah, XX knew that Meteor was going to flash in that situation. If he hadn't, then he would have been able to expend his own flash, got a Cataclysm of his own. So moments like that, you love to see it from top esports.
So easy to snowball the advantage, it seems, at this point as well. ADD, a couple of seconds too late here. The back going to be done by 369, who finally accumulates some of those Sapphire Crystals into a tier and a lost chapter.
There we go. Good point for himself right now. So 369, I think, is set. You already look at the goal lead that he has in the top side of the map. It's pretty huge for being 8 minutes into the game.
True. Hello. Let's go for the 1v1 now. Jinjiao known for the 1v1s, but XX level 6 drops a Cataclysm down. Depth charge here as well. Knight joins the fray, but in comes Kuro first. Cataclysm responded onto Knight. He saves the Relentless Pursuit to get out, and that's all he can do, because top esports lose their jungle.
That's impactful. That really is. Because that was a great timing from ShinMo to make that rotation. And remember, 9 minutes on a dot, you have 50 seconds from the Rift Herald from coming up. So not only can you get the control ward down, get the shove in the adjacent lanes, it's going to be much harder for XX to actually now contest that without his flash.
Feels like it's going to open up BLG to get some of that bottom side vision, which they're so sorely lacking at the moment. Because remember, there's a mountain coming up with a team that has Sylas, Sivir, and of course the Kennen for the dive potential and also the attack on some of those mid lane turrets.
I think right now BLG is in a really comfortable place. Usually you would have your dual lane shove out and look to go topside to back up the Rift Herald take. But right now, they can keep the lanes as they are. And take a look, he's in a pretty bad spot, 369.
He has ult once again, level 7 Kennen onto the 8 Ryze.
So
Meteor
close.
looking for the dive down. Audacious charge is available, but ADD takes 2 turret shots and a bit of Q damage from 369. Look at where XX is. If they stay, they could die.
So close being able to pick up that kill on 369. It was just in range. Jinjiao would have been able to take it. Of course, Ward being able to catch out Xiang. I don't know if he can even start this.
He started it before. Rift Herald's on a bit of a journey. But he'll back away eventually. Securing vision before he leaves as well, so top esports. Both sides of the river comfortable for now.
So this is one of those moments. Really depends on either team. Right now, BLG has the bot lane shove. They have that advantage going with Ricochet and everything as long as she's willing to expend the mana to do it.
Yep.
Or they can rotate their dual lane up topside. That's what a lot of LPL teams have been doing to be able to get a great and easy Rift Herald take. It also allows your support to be able to, go for deeper invade, help alongside. You already saw the advantage with XinMo being there for them when Jinjiao was making the rotation back to the bottom side of the map.
Yep.
Not going to happen. You can already see 369 is just making bank.
They just want to keep staying down the bottom side of the map, and yes, the top side is getting heavily shoved in to the point of 20 CS here for the Ryze, but back towards the bottom lane, ShinMo with Moby boots, trying to deter XX from coming in, who gets spotted out over a ward, hovering around this Mountain Dragon that's now up.
Ooh.
Smart pathing, but will it be started? No, it's purely to get rid of vision.
They're going to get pushed out here. You can already see them getting converged on.
Now for XX, he has Warriors, so does Meteor, so both junglers have hit their one item.
That's what I love to see. If you are, that far ahead as a Jarvan, don't go tanky just yet. Build up Warriors and get to that point. Right now, he's going to be dealing heaps amount of damage. Just take a look at this. It seems like BLG are relentless.
So that's going to be insane. That's an electrocute Jarvan as well. BLG, as you mentioned, just hovering around the bot side, but the problem with the Lucian mid, who's 20 CS up as well, is he can get an easy shove, start making his way down the river, and turn this into a quick 4v3.
Yeah, certainly the first one to move. Has the offensive summoner advantage as well. So if we're just talking about top esports being confident here, it's because you always see, if you look at the minimap, Lucian the first one to make it over.
Yeah, he's starting to make his way over. It's all for ult Cataclysm there as they get a 2-man light binding, but Ben going to be engaged on by Meteor, the depth charge onto the AD carry, but the ultimate comes out, the final spark. Logan ults in too early as well. BLG get the first kill, now for the second onto the J4. How are they 4v5ing as well? Doesn't matter because Knight sends out the culling. XinMo goes golden with the ignite, and Knight eventually gets him. The boomerang blade for the trade. Kuro's now finally joined the party, but top esports trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, top esports should have slowed that one down a little bit more. At the end of the day, it comes down to LokeN ulting and immediately thought he had the opportunity to go for the play. But it's not possible. I think just needed to wait a little bit longer for Knight to get in on the action. Had the rotation over Kuro. So love to see that play one more time because I think it was great to start with top esports. The only issue and why it was prolonged was simply because Meteor's ultimate made it so difficult for people who wanted to commit to the fight. So take a look at this because he was put in the pen. Jarvan said, you stay in here for a little while longer, taking a lot of damage. So he's like, all right, let's see if we can get any damage on him. LokeN's the one who committed, ulted in, just so he can get a larger angle in the last auto attack to be able to take down Meteor, but he gets bursted down so early.
I will say Ben really salvaged that fight though, locks down ShinMo, and Culling eventually comes out while we see a fight back in the top side.
Stunned him.
Definitely LPL time as 369 underneath the turret. Oh boy, almost takes NED with him. The junglers now have at it, but Kuro interrupts the play, almost follows him, but the Culling to come through, stolen away. Knight says, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry I gave it to him, but luckily he escapes too.
2 separate points of the battlefield. Please hunt him
they're
down.
Gonna find him. No, it's the blue buff first. Yeah, no one expects the brush.
The only ones who will know about it are the fans and the coaches. The coaches right now are just crying.
No one's going to talk about it. This is a good moment, though, for BLG. You're mentioning before, even though they're a 1k gold down, still a lot of control toward the top side river that keeps being gained because Meteor is so proactive on the map right now.
Yeah, I think Meteor is doing a great job just being that bridge. At this point in time, Kuro needs time. If you take a look at his items, man, of course he's not fully investing towards the Zonias. He just wants to be able to have that extra bit of armor underneath him, just for the laning phase so he can get to a strong enough point. At least he has Proto Belt picked up. As long as he's in a strong area where he can put himself on side lane, once they get out of the early portions of the game, they're in a strong position. But take a look at the turret plating gold that's been distributed.
Very small amount, considering how fast we expected top esports to go, but one of the testament of BLG. 640 on the Ryze.
That's the major focus here. Not only did the early assist gold. I'm still pretty sad that Jarvan took both of those kills, even though he's doing well himself, because of the kill goals went on towards Ryze. He was already doing quite well within the laning phase based on the matchup alone, and then being able to pick up the turret plating goal, the turret kill gold. Right now, he's just a real menace on side lanes. It's going to be happening later on in the game, but right now, he's making ADD sweat.
That 30 CS plus the Archangel staff. Still has the Sapphire Crystal in inventory, but with the Tenacity boots, ADD's not locking him down, not for long. Still looking for his first item in the top lane. As he's been shoved out, he's left towards the top side with his TP in hand, and 369 is just getting some of that deeper vision, deeper control, and still looks to stay in lane.
There's a lot of places you can go with that Mana Crystal. I'm excited to see where he ends up going. The Knee Shroud is, of course, the Rod of Ages, but I don't expect that at all. And, you know, usually you end up going towards the Righteous Glory, so that's probably the go-to, just to have the Glacial Shroud. Glacial Shroud doesn't make too much sense within the laning phase matchup, but in terms of the team fight perspective, where you're able to, you know, get some real ground on some enemies. Let's say if you get into a flank position, but obviously if you're just trying to look for some pick potential with, you know, added on towards Kuro as well, makes sense. So hold on to that for a little bit longer.
Can be really abusive in the 1v1.
Yeah, it's pretty abusive.
You could just run towards people. Now, remember what I said about the TP advantage here as Dragon's being started up? BLG now on the hunt has been popped as that's what Jinjiao's going to do with that Essence Reaver. Pokes them out, they get the Dragon, and now it's one elemental for one elemental.
And top esports just were not positioned right for the fight. They were just, not only were they spread out, just to be able to see if they can threaten them on a flank, but at the end of the day, they just were not going to commit 369 to that fight, who holds right now the majority of the gold.
He didn't need to dodge Q. If he dodges Q, he's okay in this lane, but for the ladder, nope, you don't want to be there. Eventually clears out that wave, and as we're looking there and the Ryze starts bullying across, he picked up an extra 10 CS lead over ADD, and this is slowly blowing out of hand, with Kuro now having to flex between mid and the potential of ganking that top side.
But take a look at this. Not only does he have that 40 CS advantage that we were talking about, has his Glacial Shroud now, and at this point in time, top esports are going to just start to like to play a slower pace 1-3-1 game. I would love to see Lucian get put on a side lane, specifically the bottom side of the map, before the next Dragon comes in tow, because 4 minutes on, double Mountain Dragon is a real threat to deal with, where BLG can completely negate your side lane push, just to say, okay, we'll group up around Baron. It's the LPL go-to. And now we have the added incentive of, you know, Sivir damage alongside the double mountain to be able to rip it to shreds. So top esports do not want BLG to have that ease of access.
And it's such an incentive for BLG, because if they deny a double mountain to a double AD carry comp, Baron just gets taken a little bit further down to the priority list. So good denial there from BLG, as it were. 3:30 to find the next one. And as we get closer towards a mid-game where fights should be coming across, remember, there's a big lead in the mid lane for top esports as well, with their only suffering lane being the bot right now.
You're alone, buddy.
Speaking of suffering, Meteor going to be caught out here, locked on down, pops the ulti. He should die very quickly, but now it's a further fight as ADD comes on in, almost finds 3, but they do lock down XX. On the backside, Jinjiao has found Ben, but Top are re-engaging. Final spark from Kuro. Ben's going to be engaged on the backside. Now, this is all about Kuro because he has the flank position. Top esports are chasing ShinMo. He sits back, he waits. ShinMo dredge lines away, but he gets ignited for the kill, and Knight is pushing forward. A big win here for top esports.
Very weird from Meteor, because if he saw that situation, he should have known the members that were in the area. This kind of played that game of chicken, saying, you know, I'm going to be here. I have the people who are around me. Just don't take that fight. Top esports double down in that situation and come up trumps, because we take a look back at that one, like, I don't know what Meteor was even really thinking.
He's going in the brushes just to see what was happening.
There's a lot of confidence in the members around him, and if you take a look at the vision behind him, if the, you know, you get to a point where the observers ever like toggle that, he didn't have any information. Realm Warp essentially getting a flank on him. He was working on the assumption that the worst case scenario didn't exist. So puts himself out to dry. BLG run rampant around them just to be able to get at least get a pick in that situation. Thankfully they do, but they still got to get out of it.
You see the potential of ADD in that fight, and we were talking so much about the top lanes that for me I went straight to the Kennen. What did his ult provide? And it was almost that 3-man lockdown. It was almost the potential for a big team fight from BLG, but good kiting away from Knight and from XX to just reposition.
Still a great moment there for top esports. I think something we could always highlight in that moment is just the vision control that they had behind them.
Very true.
Like, that's something that allows them to create these plays with such confidence. That being said, Knight's got to get out of here.
We'll be about vision now. Knight's already used the Relentless Pursuit, looking for the stun here from ADD, but that's an easy getaway while Ben just does the same thing in the bottom lane by himself.
Completely zoning him off. Sylas trying to at least pick up something in that wave, and it's kind of minion wave too.
He's going to be taking the turret down even faster. 369 is unrelenting in this side lane. Give him 300 more gold and a level lead over ADD. The Sylas has to go and respond as he's like, right now I can deal with the Ryze, but in all honesty, I'm not sure anyone can.
Yeah, I think he's just consistently taking the weak side, which is necessary. Remember, he picked up the Sylas because of the kit that it had and required.
Yeah.
And the Jinjiao is supposed to be the bridge. Of course, Ryze is going to get out of there because it's that threat. You can already see people converging from mid over to the area, so that's a smart decision. But to my point, he's just here to hold Ryze back. It was already going to be bad no matter what, but as long as he's able to eat the wave, then he's going to be in a pretty good position for the fight. But he needs to get to that point quickly because he's been losing out not just in the individual matchup versus the Lucian, but now we're putting him on the side lane, and now Ryze is going to run roughshod in that situation.
Both solo laners are behind 50 CS of their counterparts.
Tough.
And that's massive. Yeah, that's the 2k, 3k gold lead in the case of the top lane. We'll just hone down to the mid because you saw the 2 item spike now for the Lucian. And all you AD carry mains out there know that when a Lucian has 2 items, Blade of the Ruin King and Essence Reaver, this man is going to absolutely land every bullet right in your face. It's going to hurt.
It'll hurt. It'll hurt. On sideline too, I think that's something that we need to see consistently. And remember that Mountain Dragon is a point of focus for top esports. With a lane assignment was that very easy to pick up. Able to deny that away from BLG.
Yep.
So now they can continue to play that game. I'm happy that Kuro is able to find something for himself off top lane, but now top esports can reset the position that they have on the map, start to focus a little more pressure towards Baron buff. Easy to be able to get that. On BLG, you need to find a fight, man.
Yeah.
You got Sivir, you have Nautilus for yourself. You can try and find something on Lux through mid lane, but you need to be able to get the vision control to be able to catch it. Right now, you don't really have that many answers.
Really hard as well. Realm Warp, Relentless Pursuit from the top side. And in this now 1-3-1, top esports comfortable that they have the escape tools to run away from the impounding doom that BLG are trying to bring. Right now, Ben as well. Mobility boots, hard to catch the Lux. So a lot of avoidability here from top esports that continues to kind of prevent BLG from getting in their face.
I'm glad that they're able to take the ward right there because that one's able to catch them so consistently in transition from mid to bot side. So if Ryze ever comes right back, as you can see he's trying to do that, then they can make that transition pretty easy.
Yep.
They just need to be able to stop him, nail him down, kill him. If Ryze ever dies, they can go towards Baron. So that's a play that they want to make. Doesn't have to be a rush for Baron, but it has to just be able to force top esports in a fight where they're a man down.
Yep.
That's the game that BLG is trying to play right now.
Righteous Glory on the Ryze, by the way, as well. So second item's going as standard of the do and be popularized build in spring. That's actually continued to prevail across the world. See a blasting one that's been there for a while too. So
Ruby Crystal too, so it might be a Ryze. There are situations where you look at that and you're like, well, that's a little bit too much utility, but still
90 AP.
Exactly, and a lot of that's just the gold that he's able to acquire for himself. So at this point, doesn't seem like there's a wrong answer here.
Has teleport as well to join the fight, but 369 opts to walk up instead. All 5 members around this mid lane right now, and you talk about the man advantage. If BLG can find it, well, 369 runs in first, and LokeN's right behind him. He might be caught out. BLG jump onto 369, get the slow. Everyone flashes, they find it, but now Meteor takes the brunt of that damage by Jinjiao. Gets dove on by LokeN and the rest of top esports. Kuro goes for the flash. He wants the chain lash, but as ADD comes in with a late slicing maelstrom, top still have the damage, and it's because Knight can't be killed in this fight. He runs onto ShinMo, ready to sling a couple more bullets with a triple kill, and top wiping BLG off the face of Summoner's Rift.
Right towards Baron too. Bad timing for BLG to be getting picked off in that situation. Went straight for ShinMo, and they get slayed on that pick.
And they picked up the Mountain Dragon before, and both AD carries alive with the Lux shield that everybody hates. So get ready for this Baron to be sliced, diced, and deleted as top esports pick up a positive advantage in this game 1.
A lot of confidence there from 369 to even pick up that fight. He just went straight for it, of course, was confident with the armor that he had underneath him, the constant shields that he had to be able to just weather the storm in which you got on top of ShinMo, started the fight for his squad. I think at the end of the day, there are so many threats on the side of top esports, they really couldn't nail as many people as they wanted. So this is how it all started off. Great hook from ShinMo to at least then focus and re-engage back to 369, but he's way too damn fast with the phase rush. So when they ended up picking him off, Cataclysm terrain, split up the squad, and it made it so much easier for Knight to be able to come into the back end. Take a look at how hard it is for ADD to get a proper ultimate. and just comes down to where the fight ended up taking place. In an area with so much terrain, including the Jarvan Cataclysm, that made it so difficult to ever get, let's say, even 2 people in one Kennen ulti.
I was just watching Knight that entire fight, and he was dancing and prancing everywhere. He was having a great time. Level 16 now on the Lucian, 3 items with a pickaxe in inventory, and both these 80 carries are fed on that note. With Logan moving towards the Hex Drinker in that 3rd item, the Colonel's dipped.
Wow.
Much like BLG's chance in this game, because it's an 8k gold lead. They're going up against a 1-3-1 that's now come as a community towards this bottom side with Baron.
Whenever top esports get that first Baron, they make it count. So I want to be able to see what they can do here, of course, with 369 being able to get a lot of pulling the bots out of the map, because I expect more than just being able to pick the bottom lane tower down. Once it goes down, allows for a lot larger of a room for 369 to cut through enemy red side jungle, make a play throughout mid, and that for me is the 1-2 punch that you end up seeing from top esports time and again.
Really hard to get vision control in this bottom side jungle as well for BLG. Getting shut out, and if they lose this mid lane turret, to get out of base right now seems to be a task, as Culling's going to come through in the mid lane, but there's not much from Kuro that he can achieve.
But at least you have Sivir to be able to get some great push through mid, and they're going to try and force a fight here. 369 is going to get caught.
369 might die again. Let's see how long he takes to die. The Righteous Glory gets popped and he eventually drops as XX comes in and drops top himself with the Cataclysm. That's 2 members going down, but GA delays. Knight and LokeN and Ben are coming in. Onto Meteor, they find the double life binding. They flush away. XX is still alive after burning the key summoner. Now Knight wants to try and make the outplay.
They were able to slow him down. Ryze no longer on the map off that pick was crucial. Now they got to force on at least one side of the map. So good one from BLG. They've been trying to hunt for him all game long. Gets the job done now.
I was going to say they held that mid lane turret after as well. It still goes down, but you're right. BLG delaying the game. It's 10k gold, but with Ryze up in 15 seconds, there's opportunity now for BLG to get priority back on some of these waves.
Yeah, a bit of an arms race at this point for BLG. If we're talking about what they need to do to be able to get back into the game, for me, it's going to be on Jinjiao to, thankfully, he just completed, came back from base to be able to get his rapid fire cannon.
Yeah.
So 3 items already locked down, but I need to be able to see him being able to pick up his 3rd seal item. You can already see him with the stopwatch. Maybe he goes towards the Guardian Angel early on with how much dive threat is there from top esports. I wouldn't be surprised about that, but just focus on the Sivir. Sivir at this stage can really slow a game down as long as the next Baron doesn't come through, because it really just negates the ricochet damage that quickly. But as I say that,
ADD, come on.
He can get away.
Back away.
He's good.
There you go. Press the B.
Don't look.
Knight's going to go through
Don't
brush
check.
number 1. Culling into the second.
Out.
Into the 3rd. Knight's coming. Presses W. No. Oh. They don't know.
Don't say anything.
ADD, just press B. Press B. Go back. Press it. Press
Cool,
the damn button.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Jesus, Lord have mercy.
So Knight wouldn't have seen that the... No, stop. Oh, unless, Raz, this is the flank that brings BLG back into the game.
This is what I'm talking about. It's not going to be a cursed play either. This one's going to be pretty clean, too.
God, please don't.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
No.
Okay, it's cool. It's cool. At the end of the day, I think they're a little bit too suspicious of the situation. They don't have any eyesight on where Kennen is. They're just going to move towards mid lane, where they have some pretty good defensive wards around them, too. So
yeah. I was about to say this could either go really well, this could backfire
He's patient
massively.
as hell. Let's go!
ADD's waited for the wave, and it begins. Turret's going to go down, but top esports have no idea where he is.
Rocky montage. Knight is isolated.
They're going to find him. Lightning Maelstrom only onto 180. He almost dies because of it, but they get the pick. BLG gets the pick, and it was all worth it in the end.
That's one of those situations where if you ever end up doing a VOD review, he's safe. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, all right.
That's a support ultimate, by the way. That's not going to do any damage.
I think it.
He's going to be sad as hell. Like, how is Knight ever going to look back at that VOD and say, I made the right choice? I made the wrong choice? Because he's like, what? At the end of the day, he's got to check every bush? Yeah, it's cool, man. What are you going to do?
It's a close call. You're kind of happy that the Kennen got away with it in the end as well. I was going to say, before we saw ADD getting caught out, before he's rushing up towards the top side, that another part of how BLG get back into this game, for me, you always look towards that Slicing Maelstrom. Such a key ultimate that at the close to level 16 Kennen can find himself in the middle of the fight with potentially a stolen Cataclysm. I know specific, but ADD could bring this game right back.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to see, specifically, you're right about ADD. Another point for me is also going to be off of, if Kuro can get a great Lux ultimate as well.
Very true.
Been able to at least farm himself up that Luden's Echo, so he has a lot of AP underneath him. The conversion would be really good. It's a lot of damage that they can start before the fight even really begins. Before Jinjiao you know, is able to really get into it.
Yep.
So I'm loving the composition BLG has at this stage. It's just so tough because obviously, like, they got into an 8k gold deficit before they really got comfortable with it.
And remember that for Kuro, he's so close to level 16. When he hits that mark, he will have the hijack every 10 seconds. With a bit of CDR under his belt as well, that's going to be huge. Kuro's now hit that mark. He can steal the Lux Final Spark. He can also go for Cataclysm, Culling, get that big rotation of ultimates in the fight.
That's why a lot of the focus for me is on this Baron, but take a look at the minimap. Ryze is already on the bot side. He's going to be doing a lot of damage towards the tower itself.
No one's there.
They have to rush it. You're on a timer.
It begins. Control ward down as well. Vision going to be negated while look at the bottom side. 369's hitting away, but Teleport's finally going to come in after securing the turret with the Culling as well. Baron is stopped, and Top Esports get everything from a simple play.
Where are they going?
369, he wants to realm up in front of BLG, but they're not there. They've gone the long route.
They're creating a wall to stop them from coming through mid once again. And here's the weird situation now. If Top Esports go through the mid lane turret, then BLG have an opening towards going to Baron. So Top Esports are going to have a mid lane shove at the same time as taking Baron.
They need to pick one, but they're too slow because this Baron is going down quickly, and it's gone. The Mountain Dragon with double AD carry just does that much.
And already Ryze is going to reap his reward. Straight towards the inhibitor. They picked up literally everything.
ADD's like, what do I go for the flank? Do I go mid? Where do I go? Positioning, positioning, positioning. At this point, 369 almost gets the inhibitor. BLG still aren't back to base.
It's literally cat and mouse because they sent too many members now towards the Ryze. He didn't commit to the inhibitor. Now take a look towards the top side. Sure, even if you take the Ryze kill, you're going to be losing your top lane inhibitor turret. They're going for it.
Okay, so finally making the play. BLG lose the inhibitor, but can they get the Ryze? 369 underneath the minions himself with the Baron buff. He flashes away to the rest of his team, but the rest of BLG are there first. They dredge line into him, but the Ryze almost bursts them down. Finally, 369 drops, but it's at the cost again.
Teleport. They're coming through for this fight. They need to be able to come back at some point.
ADD level 15. The Slicing Maelstrom available with Flash Raz.
Oh my god.
Top Esports.
They're splitting up too. XX is not going to be a part of this.
ADD's in the brush. Waiting comes in too, man. Locks down LokeN. We need the second one as well, but the final spark comes through. Knight's still alive. He's kited out fairly well as a 1 for 2. Now 2 for 3. It's going wrong. BLG have walked into this. Now they want to walk out. LokeN lives for so damn long. Goes golden. Bend the remnants. They send out a shield. And here we go. Finally drops down. And Top Esports again just can't be stopped.
That was the gambit BLG were praying for. And honestly, everything was going straight according to plan. XX moved on to the right side, but at the end of the day, you can't do it. You don't have the damage necessary. There's way too much mobility coming out of the Kai'Sa, and LokeN locks in.
The 4-item Kai'Sa doesn't die, and Top Esports with 3 members put the driving force on top of BLG, close this one out in 32-minute fashion to take away game 1.
That was a fun game.
Really was.
A fun game in an environment where Top Esports had both of their solo lanes in a great position. And it really gets you asking how you get to that point to begin with.
Yeah.
Because no one ever plans for Kennen to be dying in the top side of the map 2 times before, like, you know, you really get your first clear done as a jungler.
The second was the worst time.
The Zhao was just going through his top side, got buff to buff. He was like, okay, that's cool. Goes up towards his Gromp. Okay, his top laner dies the first time around. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Goes back towards Raptors to clean up the rewards. Obviously, he's not going to go up top lane in that situation. You're already in a behind. And then ADD teleports to the same damn minion in the same damn place. That's really why the majority of the deficit came through.
Yep.
369 was able to really stomp this game.
Because the difference was when BLG finally got towards that top side,
yeah,
it felt like it was already too late. You know, as you said, 369 was in that position where he itemized well enough, and Meteor getting the kill didn't help ADD out at all.
And it's a great example, of course, of just trickle-down economics, my friend.
Oh, good.
You know, perfect League of Legends term here. 369's pressure that he was able to apply through lane really meant that the topside river was in a great position for XX, where he's able to roam through there pretty consistently. The only way BLG could really contest that was through having XinMo roam up topside,
yep,
which you can't do consistently. So he had to go back to the bottom lane, and Knight had a free lane because of it. Kuro has struggled, sure, because he was put in the pick and ban situation for that point, But obviously, Topside was already lost by the time he was able to even get out of laning phase.
That's right, and Kuro was almost demanded to come towards that bottom side and make those early plays around the Dragon, which BLG were really persistent on.
So I love the fact at least BLG were, in a fighting mood for that one.
Good.
Because if you are losing consistently across the board, Dragon fight was great. At Topside, I think ADD's creativity to find himself in the bush and, of course, be able to search for those opportunities. Those are points you need to be able to see, plays you need to see to come back into the game.
Yeah.
It's just sad that you go up against a triple threat comp. I think LokeN and especially Knight were smart enough to be able to play it slowly later on in the game. So Knight got his triple kill, LokeN got his. At the end of the day, how are you going to be able to nail anyone down? It
was amazing to see as well, just coming to the start of this game and looking at the draft, seeing the Lucian paired mid against the Sylas and the thought process behind BSYY and Top Esports coming into game 1.
Yeah, I think what we should be seeing from Top Esports is a consistent focus on Topside, much like they did in game 1, right? 369, as we already mentioned, is a stellar top lane talent.
Yeah.
You want to be able to put in resources as much as possible. And I think the strategy they had going into playoffs, where they did the opposite, was not a good one. I think that you need to go to what you've been practicing throughout the split, what you had really staked your name on.
Yep.
And we once again saw a situation where LokeN and Ben were put on the weak side of the map, played incredibly smart in that situation, didn't die to any, dives, possible dives, that is, whenever they were being crept up on. They're like,
was
okay,
that one small moment in the team fight where LokeN jumps in, ults in, but from that, you like everything else was stellar.
You don't want those moments to kind of like mar what was a pretty exceptional game from him. So good stuff from Top Esports as a whole. I think they might give MVP to, I'm going to say they'll give it to Knight. Because Knight in team fights were just pretty stellar. Whenever you see a Lucian able to perform that well, of course, and have the damage that he did, the stats team will say, hey, you know what? Get this guy going. But I think XX had his eyes on the prize.
Yeah, early double kill up into the top lane. Well, it became double after the teleport came through. That was game 1 for Top Esports. A grand victory. See if they can do it again in game 2. You're going to have to wait and find out. That minion's going to provide them a lot of anguish as Knight starts poking away and Top get the mid lane turret anyway.
Yeah, this is really difficult for them to defend on.
Party. I know it doesn't do much damage, but Sven getting a pick. Wow. But that does equalize it down onto Logan as they jump on in. Once in with the flash there, with the slicing maelstrom. It's over before it began. Top Esports can't be stopped, creature, and they sit Road Warriors down. Finally got the shove at the mid lane. This is what we're talking about with FBX. Cannon Barrage coming down the flash forward with the light binding, but Chris gets turned on by Uzi. Exhausted out, but can they get the return kill? Uzi wants it, but a double bump, double Q, double kill for LWX.
4 kills on LWX at the 9-minute mark. That Top are simply looking for the team fights rather than the actual Baron, and the Baron itself is acting as a bait to enable them to fight Road Warriors.
We have here
here it is.
On the Karma, as Road Warriors might have found their big teleport coming in. Platien gets the slow on to no one. Misses everything as Logan sends himself up. Pop Blossom's down. Logan flashes out of it. What an AD carry here from Top Esports. The 369 jumps on Knight as well. With everyone else, there's no Pop Blossom to look forward to as Wuji. Gonna be hit 1, 2. No blast cone for you. Caught out now as Chris, though. Doesn't get the Dread Blind, has to flash away. They find the Proto Belt engaged. Zhao gets the flow with the Chain Lash, and Cocoon's going to come through, but I think Chris might still be dead. Ming snipes him out. Teleport coming in from RNG. They want to continue to play onto FBX bottom lane.
Wrong side of the map. Oh my god, can he do it?
Being out, but he's in full vision. Ult comes through, the stun as well. Dilby is going to ult, but I don't think he can get a reset. He needs to kill Lungshik. Tries to hop on over him. Gets the third Q. Dunks him down. Reset there. Dilby is a machine. Now onto Zhao, who they need to time this out, but I think he can kill Uzi in the same time. Dilby flashes on. The feathers fly. He almost kills him.
Nasher's Tooth, his W will smoke LWX and Boom if he catches this. So that's a real possibility from Kramer now.
Now, what's going on here with FPX? Because LGD are running it up the mid lane.
They'll get this tower for free.
And FPX are going infernal
They
mid.
have to full base.
They have to go back now.
They're committing to... Oh, this is a really weird call. They're going for the fight. They want the fight now.
Inhibitor, they don't know where FPX are.
They're going for the end game. FPX, come back to base, please.
LGD are working their magic, triple mount, they're going for the Nexus. They